welcome back in. I know there's been a lot going on, but hopefully we can find a nice little distraction in some of these books that I've got for you. These are my top reads for September, and there's some, I say this all the time, but there's some good ones, especially if you're looking for a little bit of a distraction. I'm going to start right off the bat with Maybe You by Briar Prescott. Briar Prescott, I believe I've talked about before. They are a wonderful author, and Maybe You is another great one to add to your list if you haven't yet already. It's a contemporary romance, and it deals with some heavy topics, especially like body issues and domestic violence. So just a little content warning if those are any issues for you. So we got two main characters. We've got Ren, who we kick off with while he's cleaning a rec center pool, basically, and he does this as a job after school. So he's going to school for I can't remember what degree. I don't know, engineering or something, finance. The degree's not the important thing, but that's where he meets Sutton, because Sutton has quote unquote broken in and is using this pool after hours. So there's a little bit of banter while Sutton's trying to flirt with Ren, and Ren's like, I'm gonna have to call the cops. Sutton's like, no you don't, because Sutton is actually good friends with the guy who owns the pool, which is from another previous story, which I would say you don't have to read, but it's a good way to know the cameos when they appear. But Sutton is kind of a really interesting character because he's truthful, he's almost overly truthful. He's kind of blatant, doesn't mince words. It's just hey, I want you, let's go have some fun, don't fall for me, I don't do relationships for feelings. There's a lot to unpack there, which we do slowly get through as the pieces of the puzzle come together, while Briar expertly puts the story together. So normally I would say there's a little bit of maybe 50-50 or maybe even 60-40 as far as the POV, but Maybe You really has, I would say, 90% from Ren's perspective. So we get a lot of his body insecurities, which I don't want to spoil it, but there's major reasons, there was a fire, and so he's got some issues with the consequences of what happened after that fire, and some insecurities from some past relationships that he's had, where he just thinks that no one will ever find him attractive. He barely doesn't look at himself in the mirror. So there's that kind of body issues where it's just he doesn't want to deal with that whole aspect. And the nice thing is that because Sutton is so bold, I would say, in his pursuit, it gives Ren a little bit of confidence, because he's Sutton would definitely tell me the truth, he wouldn't sugarcoat anything. So that kind of helps to break down some of those barriers that he has. I will say, the fact that this is mostly from Ren's POV actually kind of worked for me. I normally like a dual POV because I like getting into the mindset of both characters, because you get to see how events might have played across differently. But the fact that we don't get Sutton's POV is really good, because then we get when we get revealed about some of the actions from the past that have made Sutton build up these walls that feels resistant to admitting that he does want to have a significant person in his life. It's, I wouldn't say shocking so much, it's just you get the oh moment, where things click into place. And I think if we had gotten Sutton's POV from the start, that moment wouldn't be as such a surprise. It wouldn't have had the impact that it does by not sharing his perspective. This is just there's these characters are complex and real, and they're going through real baggage while trying to navigate this budding relationship where they obviously are developing deeper feelings but can't admit it to the other person for various reasons. And it's just, the emotions are high and the characters are truly special. And so that's why I'm like, it's like top of my list. Anytime Briar Prescott kind of comes out with something, I know it's gonna be something to treasure, because like that's what they're known for. Like their storytelling skills are phenomenal, and I highly recommend Maybe You. Another wonderful storyteller is Hailey Turner, and we've got Secondhand Skin. Now this is a spin-off of her urban fantasy story Soulbound series, and I do recommend reading the Soulbound series first. It's maybe a lot to get through, but if you're an urban fantasy fan, do not miss it. It is action, there's violence, there's gods, there's myths. It's like, it's got everything you'd want in an urban fantasy series. It's really well done. You got Jono and Patrick. Jono is a werewolf who's got the god Fenrir in sharing basically his mind and body. It's like God touched, if you will. And then you've got Patrick, who's a mage that tends to blow up various important structural objects around popular cities. But the reason that you have to read that first is because we're introduced to the character Wade here. And Wade, I actually thought we were never gonna get Wade's story, which would have been fine. I mean, it would have been nice. Wade can love his snacks. He's like Wade. It was always eating. If Wade doesn't eat, there's an issue. But when Patrick and Jono find Wade in the series, he's quite young, and so he's like growing up and maturing. And then Secondhand Skin is from Wade and the other main character's perspective, and he's aged up a little bit, and we get to see like how he's matured from the Soulbound series, which is kind of nice. I did really enjoy that. So we've got Wade and Rorden. I think that's how you say it. It's very Celtic because he's a fae, and they meet somewhat, I would say, through this fae wedding. Once again, a character that you see in the Soulbound series. So that's why, like, not that you couldn't pick it up and enjoy it, but you would definitely understand, I think, the pack dynamics that's important, and then it's a little bit like a little political, like fae versus shifter versus mage versus how they all fit together. I think you get a little bit more understanding if you actually start from the beginning, because then you get the whole world built, and a lot of the the details might be kind of glossed over here, to make it not so info dumpy, because we get one book for Wade, where there's, I believe, 7 Soulbound series. So that's like the biggest difference. This was definitely worth the wait, because it's like another, like, you get the action, you get the complex characters. Wade has issues for various reasons, understandably, and he's grown up in New York, in the New York City pack, and now there's something going on down in Boston that has required pack attention, so they send Wade down because he's basically available. And that's where while he's going and trying to untangle this other issue, he comes across Rorden, who's having a similar problem with the main, I guess, quote unquote, villain in the story. And so these two start to spend a lot of time together, and Rorden is a perfect partner for Wade. He gives Wade the space that he needs. He doesn't push, doesn't rush, understands that Wade has some baggage that he's bringing to the table, and it's just like a really awesome soft space, and yet he can still keep up with Wade. But Wade's sassy, Rorden can give it back. They play off each other very well. It was just a lot of fun. If you love urban fantasy at all, pick up a Hailey Turner book. and read them and then pick up and then pick up Secondhand Skin. I don't think you'll regret it at all. All right, kind of going along with like an urban fantasy theme, we've got Passing Through Purgatory by Nick Knight. So this is, I would say, urban fantasy-ish. It's like a multi-dimensional story, and while it is somewhat of a romance, it does mostly follow the main character, Oliver. So it's more like about Oliver's life, and then through this we do see him with this other character, Leaf, and watching that kind of growth. But it mostly shows Oliver, like, he starts off in this space where like he needs a job. He's trying on his last string. He's actually gonna go like in this instance, hell is just like another dimension. It's not really, it has like no really correlation to like the quote unquote like religious undertones. He was supposed to go like to this finance district and become like, I guess, accountant over there. Misses his train for various reasons. Ends up at this cafe in Purgatory called the Passing Through Cafe, and has this really interesting interaction with a couple of the workers there who are non-human. So there's like all these interesting species that we get introduced to as Oliver starts to kind of put his life together, interacts and starts to make more friends, and has these like really awesome conversations with other Passing Through Cafe employees. We just kind of see like things start to click in place, and that's kind of how he also meets Leaf, who's I think a lawyer, if I remember. I'm pretty sure he's a lawyer, and he's kind of like a workaholic, and so they play off each other well because Leaf like does tend to like back away maybe from work a little bit, become a little bit more playful with Oliver in the picture. But I don't believe we get anything from Leaf's perspective. I think the entire story is from Oliver's perspective. And then we also do get to see tidbits of the other characters' lives. They all have these like really like complex histories, their baggage that they bring to the table, and it's just I don't know, it's just really well written story that you kind of like feel good after reading. And I do hope that we get to explore this world some more. Nick does an awesome job of explaining the world rules and how like this dimension kind of works and how it fits into ours in a little bit. There's like certain areas that you can pass through to get there, and a little bit of interaction between humans and these other people, and it's just a lot of fun. I liked like the dialogue is just witty and it's comedic at times, and yet it still has some like soft moments. And I think one of the moments that hit me the hardest was when Oliver was visiting his parents and just him interacting with especially his mother. It was just a really well done scene, and I hope we get to see these guys again. I want to see more of the Passing Through Cafe. On another note, the last one I've got for you right now is another book from the Tales from the Tarot series, which is actually, I've read a fair amount now from that series. The series in general is very well done. Each one is a new author, and they're only tied to each other through this magic shop, and the owner who then does a reading and pulls a card for the characters. So that's the only constant is this magic shop dimensionally appears. Each dimension's different. Each author's kind of taking like their own spin to it. It's pretty good. But we're gonna start with this one by Rude Strength by Hiers. And I won't lie, the main character, LA, is a huge jerk when we first meet him. And I was almost like, I don't know. I don't like this guy. He's very rough around the edges. He's trying to get his job back. He's been on disability because he hurt his back on the job. He's kind of rude to everybody. Has like this little complex where, you know, he both is thinking that he knows right, and then also internally is like, I'm not good enough. So like there's like that little play. I almost was like, I don't know if I like this character at all. I'm like, I don't know if I can read this. I'm like, let's keep going. let's push it a tiny bit more and see where we get to. And then he gets this quote unquote strength potion. He gets the strength card, and then this potion to go along to supposedly help him with his strength. And so like he's thinking strength to get his like back better, to be able to get his job back and all that stuff. And instead, after this potion is used, he gets a demon. He gets this imp called Cass, and if it wasn't for Cass, I won't lie, I probably would not recommend this book, but Cass the imp makes this 100% worthwhile. He is the most cinnamon roll that I've ever seen cinnamon roll around in a story. He loves baking. He's always like, I'm here to help support you. I'm here to like get you back on track. He's like, why are you being so mean? I could be at my own house right now trying to like do stuff, but Cass is a huge sweetheart. So I will say, through their interactions, LA starts to see kind of like how toxic his relationships with like his ex and his mother in particular have been, and how they've kind of like pushed him down instead of support him. And so we get this like charming imp who instead actually helps LA find his own inner strength and start to see like how he can build a life from where he's at now and make it what he wants. Where, like, okay, he's like, well, did you actually want to go back to your job where you got hurt because of, policies that they ignored? And like, was it actually like helpful to you? Is there nothing else that you can do with your expertise because you've been in the field for so long? And so you start to put these pieces of the puzzle together to like find the improvements in his life. But the charm, okay, here's the charm, right? LA's still kind of a bit of a dink at the end of it. Cass might like make it so he's no longer bitter so much at the world, but he doesn't. His edges are still a little prickly. They may not cut you like they did at the beginning, but he still has a little bit of that edge left. And I love it when authors leave their prickly characters some spike. I don't like it when they go from being class grade A1 dickwad for better lack of terms to then smooth bubblegum candy. It's like it's so sweet that you can't take it. I don't like that. I'm like, if this guy has been a jerk for so long, he's not going to change overnight. And 100% that KL does a wonderful job of keeping the appropriate amount of prickliness. It's the best way I have to describe it. The appropriate amount of prickliness. So him, LA and Cass, he's they still have like this banter back and forth, and they still kind of like, LA still kind of like digs at Cass a little bit and at other situations, but it doesn't have the same bite to it, the same personal attacks it does in the beginning. And I loved seeing that. It was just fun. These books were like a really good escape. I love escaping through stories, and these were some of the top. So I hope you guys feel inclined to check them out. If you're familiar with them, I'd be curious to know that. If you've got other books that you like to escape to, other genres or anything, feel free to put some recommendations in the comments below. I'm always up for anything. And won't be too long before I will have my next batch of recommendations. All right. You guys take care, and I will see you soon. All right. Thank you. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay. The all important like and subscribe. Okay. For more content. All right. Thank you. Bye.